today telling you a story of a woodcutter who found a place where he could go and cut some wood. He was hired. It was a very good place to go to. He was very well taken care of. And the first day when he was working and cutting the wood, he managed to cut 18 trees. The second day, he managed to cut 15. On the third day, he managed to cut only 7 trees. And then he started to think about what is happening. So he decided to go to bed early and wake up early in the morning so he will have more time to cut the trees. But on the fourth day, when he did that, he only cut 4 trees. And later on that week, he managed to barely cut 2 trees. He was very worried how his foreman would deal with this. So he went to talk to the foreman, and the foreman said, "Have you sharpened your axe? Have you sharpened your axe?" Sometimes we forget that tools that we use have to be in a prime condition. So have we used our time on focusing the main thing? Have you used our time to focusing on the tools at hand? Sometimes it's very important for us to pause, to reflect, and to sharpen our tools. The tools that God has given to us. King Solomon also wrestled with the idea of time. And he writes in Ecclesiastes 3, "A time to be born and time to die, a time to plant and time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up." Solomon was talking about moments in time that mean something. Sometimes we think that time is uncontrollable. Time is something that pulls us forward continuously, and we concentrate and focus on the movement of the time, and we forget the moments in it, the moments that we have to focus on, the moments that are actually important. And those moments have significance. In verses 9 and 5, Solomon writes in Ecclesiastes 3, "He has made, that is God, everything suitable for its time. Moreover, he has put a sense of past and future into their minds. Yet they cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end." So we understand that time, but we sometimes do not understand the function of the time, the meaning of the time that can give to us. And I tell you that it's in the moments, not in the movement of the time. There's nothing wrong in the time or the movement of it, but there's wrong in how we deal with it. What Solomon wants us to do is stop and stand and focus on God. He wants us to stand in awe of God, to trust in Him in a moment of the movement in time. It means that the present moment matters. Not the future, but now is the one that matters. And what in the moment matters is our focus on the presence of God. It's important for us to realize that how we live in those moments, it's important. Genesis writes that God Himself created the world in 6 days, and then He rested on the 7th. Even God stopped in the movement of the time and rested and paused and reflected what He had done. It was a deliberate pause. It was a deliberate pause of reflection. And even our God, the Creator who had done everything so beautiful and good, he paused. Should we also follow his guidance? Should we also rest and connect with him to reflect his character, his goodness, and what he's done to us? Should we also pause, just like he did? Sabbath is that moment in a movement of time. Time to pause and reflect, to see how is our life. But not just that, but actually concentrate on who God is and who is God in our life. To reflect what's happened, what is going to happen in the future. But be in that moment and connect truly with God. Because that Sabbath mindset creates a rhythm, creates a moment that moves into the future and gives us actually a new way of living, new place to have strength into our everyday life, into the life that has things that we can't control, things that we don't know what is going to happen. We need that moment in our life to be with God so we will have strength to deal with what's to come. So actually, Sabbath is a way of creating a habit. Creating a habit, you need minimum 66 days. The studies show that you need minimum 66 days to create a habit. It can take even 8 months to create a habit that changes your everyday life. So Sabbath can create a new habit, teach you to stop, teach you to stop with God in that moment, and practice and prioritize the connection you have with God, to focus on him, to focus who he is and what he's given to you, what strength your relationship with him can give to both of you. And then you can move on with time to the future. Those moments of rest will give you strength to deal with what happens in the future. And Sabbath is the day that teaches you a habit of stopping together with God. To being with God on Sabbath gives your life meaning and purpose. Everything that God can give you is on that moment of Sabbath. So, is it now for us good time to exercise our mind and our customs, to pause, to focus on God, to practice being with him in a moment? And then with his strength, we can move on to the future, no matter what the future gives us. We will be victorious. But first and foremost, today, make a decision to rest and focus on your relationship with God. Amen.